Hey, this is DM Allen. Thanks for joining us once again for another week of awesomeness. Let's just get it started.
Hey guys, last week our heroes wandered deep into a cave.
And this cavern is pouring the black ichor into the river.
Inside they found Jubilex, the demon lord of oozes and shapeless things.
In front of you lies the demon lord, Jubilex.
The party swiftly gets to work hacking down the demon lord and manages to walk away unscathed.
You strike out with Celestia's might and stab into the goo. As you rip it, it explodes outwards.
But at the back of the cave is something peculiar. A giant statue of tin.
What you see in front of you is a statue of yourself holding the exact same shield you have. And underneath it, the statue reads, "In light, I found a passage."
And the party headed off, but not before an unfortunate practice potion mishap.
And when you do, a bitter taste is left in your mouth, and now things that once taste good now taste bad.
Where will the party head next?
It's been 3 days since the battle. You've spent this time assisting in a request for Kinian's brother, Grag, to bring over the statues from the homeland. You are all on the ship, sitting around the table, having dinner with Asmodeus, Rings, Yenferin, and Devo. The ship is slowly making its way back, and there is a luscious spread of food in front of you. And while you all are having, whatever conversations you might have, Asmodeus, he says, "So, I'm a little unclear on some things. Do we plan on going to find the protected first? Where to after Succumber?"
Well, I don't think we have any leads as to locations of the other demon lords. And we do have a lead for the protected city, whatchamacallit, so...
Kinian taking a big, juicy bite out of a carrot and drinking some water and looking at the spread of meat and ale and, scowling at it. Looks over to Rings and just kind of, shrugs.
It's been 3 days though,
Yeah,
so
it's
has
a 3-day.
Kinian not realized that it's gotten better?
I don't trust him.
All right, let's go over the plan again. Then we need to gain the favor of the gods and find the protected. Rings says, "I'm not sure about the favor of the gods as far as finding it, but nothing's going to be more powerful than gods, right? These protected folk, they're not that powerful, right?" And Bon just kind of looks up from his meal. He's sitting next to Yenfarin, and
Isn't Devo also there?
Yep, she is. She's sitting there as well. They're both just kind of eating their soup, and they kind of look at each other and share a glance. And Devo kind of stretches her neck a little bit, and you can see her obsidian flames tattoos stretch out, and she says, "Yes, it is wise to say that gods are stronger than the protected, but not much else."
I mutter something along the effect of kind of puny protected, while winking at Bon. And then I rub my head a little bit.
Yeah.
From where I normally headbutt him.
He kind of wisp his hand towards you, and a gust of wind blows a little bit of soup up onto your chest. Devo starts to speak up, and Bon speaks at the same time. Bon says, "So the hard part with finding the protected is they're protected." And Devo says, "Yes, the protected are shrouded. Basically, you leave the city, you can't find the city. So
Is it that you can't find the city, or you don't know how to find the city even though you've been there?
You know, I don't quite know the difference. I would say that it's probably that I don't know how to find it. Just because it doesn't make sense for it to be there but not be there. So it's got to be somewhere, and we just don't know how to find it.
Then.
Maybe.
Why don't we use my girl and then I cut myself off? Like, I know a tall woman with a scrying pool.
Rings lifts an eyebrow and
At the fact that you're describing the characteristics of a woman,
Yeah.
that's not her.
she says, now scrying pools are those are helpful. Maybe we should go see what Kinian's talking about.
Yeah. And I pull out a conch shell.
As you pull the conch shell out, Minette, you recognize what comes over it. The conch shell, Kinian pulls out the conch shell and it starts letting out a Morse code, boom, 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 and Minette, you you easily decipher this. It says 1 piece of 6 found in Cholt. See me immediately.
We need to go see Sarissa.
And Kinian walks close to Minette and bends down. Do you think you could convince Rings to stay on the ship?
Now, did you tell us what the message said, or just that we should go to see Sarissa?
I would tell everybody.
Okay.
He's probably flexing his muscles and reading it as it's coming in.
Real-time translation.
Real-time translations.
This could get weird for me, Minette.
Yep. You've made your bed. Now lie in it.
Shit. Okay, Hey, Rings, can you do me a favor?
What's that?
Can you go to my bunk and get my formal cloak?
Didn't you have a bow tie at one point?
I did. I sold it for a shit ton of money.
Deception check for me, please.
Oh, man. 14.
14. She sees through your lies. Or at least your misdirection. She says, why don't you just get it yourself? I'll just wait here with Minette and Bon and Tin and Keo, and when you come back, we can go wherever you're looking to go.
Shit. And I sulkingly go down the stairs, and you hear loud noises and thumping and swearing from below deck.
Fuck!
And you see me stumble up from below deck with it's basically kind of the old cloak that Bon used to cover himself.
Yeah.
When he was trying to be on the DL.
Yeah.
And I'm clearly too small for a 350-pound half orc, and it's gingerly tied around my neck, but it looks like a handkerchief for a cloak, basically.
Yeah.
And I come back up top, and I'm okay.
It's straining at the
Yeah, exactly. You can see I'm clearly being choked by it. Okay, let's go.
Should we leave someone behind with the crew to guard the ship in case there's any other demons in the area?
And I look over at Rings.
You look at Rings.
I look over at Asmodeus.
Asmodeus looks over to you, Kinian, and he just gives a real strong wink.
I just shrug at you. I tried even.
It might actually be a good idea for Rings to stay. We don't know how our contact there is going to take to a new person. Might be a little defensive. Might not get the right answers from him. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
She is very important and smart. Like me.
I don't know. I mean,
Rings goes, well, if she's smart, then she'll be accepting of many different types of people.
yeah, as long as it.
I think both his girlfriends will get along great.
Do you say that in character?
And like my eyebrows.
The whole table just goes quiet.
My eyebrows disappear behind like the crag cat headdress. You can't even see them anymore. They're raised so high. And I blow the conch.
So he's gone by himself.
The conch can extend a very wide radius.
You feel like a tug on you, and if you're willing, you come with.
Okay. Okay.
Can you select? So like, can you?
Because I mean, I could have taken us all there.
I can't.
Okay,
I don't
so is
believe.
everyone-
No, I don't
It's-
think so.
Yeah, I am attuned to it right now, or else I would have just like vanished by myself and left the conch behind. I've been like, problem solved, and then
And then everybody just shows up in a
Damn it.
couple of hours. All right, you bamf to Maelstrom, the entire party plus some of our friends, and
Well, as we teleport, I frantically go through my bag looking for the seaweed that I had cheeked the last time I was there.
Yep.
You know, because I'm worried about drowning.
That's wise. Especially because the last conversation you had with her is, take this because water's not a big deal for us. That was the essential conversation. But as you teleport in, you are greeted by nice, salty, warmish air in the greeting room. Everything seems to be fairly well patched, not necessarily repaired. It's been several days since you've been here. I think we're at like 13 days currently since the last time you've been here.
We've done a lot in 13 days.
Yes, you have. Well, having a flying ship does a good amount of.
And we just had
help.
like a 3-day mini go move some ancestral statues around.
Yeah,
Wasn't the last time we here right before we left to kill?
it was after you
Kraken?
killed the Kraken with Sarissa. Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to clear out the place afterwards, looking for the SEAL team.
Yep.
Orca Team 6. So normally, like, Kinian's demeanor when he pops in is like he owns the place.
Yep.
Especially because generally he's leaving like dead animals at the doorstep,
Dead trophies.
dead trophies.
Like a cat would.
But I am like trying to disappear into the shadows, basically, like when we arrive.
Stealth check.
We appear and I turn into a bat and fly up the stairs.
When you do that, you fly up the stairs. Rings looks to you all and she says, "This isn't the first time." And she just kind of follows your guys' lead. Bon kind of strikes out ahead and starts making his way up to the chambers above the smooth jazz area, and you all follow along. At the top of the stairs, you see sitting at the bar is a Queen Sarissa, sitting there talking with someone that you would not expect. You see sitting next to her is her Uncle Uther.
What? I thought he died.
He did die.
What?
And there's the death curse.
I see you're feeling better.
Whack.
How did Uther die again?
It was one of the Orca Team 6, or the Orca Team 6. It wasn't necessarily described, but it was definitely...
So it was during that whole thing.
It was during that time. He's sitting there. He's having a giant-sized ale and is laughing with Sarissa. Behind the counter, pops up from below it is King Hikaton, and he's pouring drinks. He pours out a big fresh glass of water for Sarissa, and they're all having quite a good time.
I casually draw my thunder cannon.
Okay.
I ride up and just start laughing with them like I've been part of the conversation.
Everybody's laughing, and then Keo just rides up laughing to interject yourself into the conversation.
The most times. Anecdotes.
Kyo probably doesn't notice, but there's a bat nestled between the teeth of one of the hung dragons.
Yeah.
From the hall.
Mm-hmm.
From one of my previous kills, as I'm like overseeing the room in bat form.
So you all see this from the stairs, and Bond's standing in front of you all going, "What the fuck is going on right now?"
Yeah, I'm not quite sure myself.
Sarissa, how are they back?
Oh, we hi guys. Pardon me. Where's Kenyon? I've got something to talk to him about. Never mind. You know there's resurrection magic, right? Like,
Yeah.
We know that it hasn't been working.
it hasn't? Okay. Interesting. Well, it just so happened to work. We tried to resurrect them, and King Hikaton's like, "We just came back. We're fresh. About 2 hours ago."
Yeah, we just came back about, 10 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, something like that.
From the dead, Keo.
After those orc parties, it felt like it.
So what happened in Schult?
What? Nothing happened in Schult. And Sarissa says, so I've been using that scrying pool that I showed you guys forever ago, and I was finally able to lock in on the marble, the piece of 6, and I see it's in the possession of some goblins that are making their way through the jungle. That's all I can see.
I'm not sure if it's insight or not, but to see if I think they're telling the truth about...
Insight.
Oh, that's crappy. That's gonna be a 16.
You believe it all.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem truthful. You don't see a reason why they wouldn't be truthful about this.
I'm just very thrown off by the curse supposedly working.
So,
Unless...
this vampiric damage that we've lost off our max hit points, what does it take to...
Long rest.
Long rest.
Okay. Would lesser restoration do that?
It's long rest.
Yeah, I think it's long rest. I think greater might do it, but I don't know.
Wait, sorry.
I gotta look it up.
What are we?
Minette's thinking he could try to like remove the vampiric damage from himself is kind of what AJ's getting at.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you could cast, but your character probably knows that type of effect normally is like a long rest.
Well, if we're at full health...
I don't know. Would
I
you
don't
know?
I don't know how, like, characters
We wouldn't
feel
know
their
until,
HP.
you would feel
Okay.
weaker. It's like being under the weather, right? You don't feel 100%.
Well, then I should be able
Similar.
to cast a cure on myself and see if I go above my current.
No, it's
You're probably used
You
to
can't
feeling this
heal.
shitty from the
Oh,
death
okay.
curse
Right.
type of thing from
Right.
like a character
Okay.
perspective.
Especially seeing as you've progressed since.
Yeah.
So I
Like-
know my hit points are higher than when my hit points were drained.
Like we've all felt sort of ill since the drain hit us. Some worse than others. What's going on in Kinian's head is like shit. Like looking from Sarissa back to Rings, back to Sarissa, and basically he's waiting for an opportunity to kind of like fly after Sarissa and talk to her alone, if possible.
All right. So Devo and Yin and Rings are standing there, and Bond says, "Well, I'll just introduce our friends here then. Devo here is one of the protected like me, and Rings, she's a good friend of Kinian's, and
That's kind of you.
I don't think Bond would bust him out like that necessarily. I don't know.
I think it would depend on if Kenyon had annoyed him recently.
Right. And this is my good friend Yin, who is from Candle Keep. She is one of the sages. The giants give a nod and greetings to them, and they offer all of you food.
While he's talking, I cast True Seeing on myself. Because I can do that kind of subtly, I'm assuming. So I do that, and then do I see anything different?
You cast the spell, and you don't see anything different, because for some reason the spell fizzled out.
Oh. So I kind of walk over and kind of pull Manette to the side
Mm-hmm.
and tell him I tried casting a spell and it wouldn't work. Because you have detect magic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you, but...
That would take 10 minutes, wouldn't it?
Oh.
What does it take to detect if something is an illusion? Is it
Insight.
Insight, I
Insight?
believe, yeah.
So I want a bowl of chowder that's as big as me. It'd be like it's like a shrimp chowder, except it's lobsters instead of shrimps.
Nice. You're just
Am I
dipping
able-
lobsters in the marinara.
I can't, like, use
Cocktail
guidance
sauce.
on
Yeah,
myself
lobsters and
or
cocktail
bless on
sauce.
myself, can I?
You can guidance yourself
I
for an
can?
ability check, yes.
Oh, okay.
It requires your concentration. You could. Yeah.
I've got a 22 insight
A 22 insight.
for illusions.
And what are you looking at? You're just looking around the room.
I'm looking around the room, particularly at Uther.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no other people that are there that should be dead. It's just him that should be.
Hikaton.
Right.
Oh,
He's
Hikaton
behind
too.
the bar.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So then focusing on Uther Hikatan, but just in general, looking.
Nothing looks hokey.
I tell you, this
Okay.
restaurant's getting a poor review in the voice.
All right. Well, I don't think it's the Demon Lord anymore, because I didn't realize Hikatan was also there. But something's fishy.
Maybe it's the main course. Let's see. As you have like this moment of just trying to look into the situation and figure things out, Rings, she says, yeah, it's weird. We got here. Kinian brought us here to come see somebody. I assume it's you, my queen, and he just kind of disappeared. Like, I don't know, turned into a bat or something. It's odd. He might be hanging around here somewhere. I'd really like to see the scrying pool of yours, and maybe we can kind of get to know each other a little bit. And
A loud thud as a half-orc falls.
there he
falls
is.
from a tooth of a dragon to the floor. Oh! And like
You
stand
okay
up,
there, Kenyon?
stretch. Like the adamantine armor, thankfully can't dent, but it made a shit ton of noise as I hit the ground. And like I scramble to my feet and like run over and yeah.
Glad to see you drop by.
Oh, hey, ladies. About what about that scrying pool? And I look over at Uther, and open my mouth really wide, like thinking like the girls can't see me, and I wink at him.
Oh my gosh.
Hey everyone, I'm DM Alan, and thank you so much for joining us once again on Roll with Advantage. This is Season 3, Episode 13. Thank you so much for being a listener. It really means a ton to us, and we really hope that you are getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. If you want to interact with us at all on social media or want a place to point your friends to when you tell them how awesome the podcast is and they really need to listen to it, go check us out on Twitter at DM's Table and on Facebook at The DM's Table. A big thank you to our patrons as well. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to keep this show hosted. So thank you. If you want to become a patron, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/DMsTable. We have all sorts of cool options for each of our tiers, and the best part about it is that all of our tiers get access to our Discord, and our Discord is absolutely fantastic. It's full of very positive people, and it's just a wonderful community. A shout out to friend of the show, Standing Stone's Workshop. Go check out Standing Stone's Workshop on YouTube. She's got phenomenal videos for Minnie's painting. I hear she's got new brushes coming in, so new videos should be coming out hopefully soon. And go check her out also on Facebook. Follow her over there so you can keep up to date with all the minis she's been working on. All right, without further ado, let's talk about this week's sponsor. This week's sponsor is Audible. Audible is an amazing audiobook platform with over 180,000 audiobooks to choose from. They are absolutely fantastic. You can listen to your audiobooks on your iPhone, Android, or even some Kindle devices. It's a really fantastic service, and we highly suggest it. You can help support the show and get awesome perks by going to audibletrial.com/RWA. When you sign up through the link, you get a 30-day free trial, 2 free audiobooks, and 2 free Audible originals. This is a phenomenal deal, and you should really check it out. All right, let's throw it over to Adam for this week's recommendation.
This week, in keeping with the times, I'm going to suggest a post-apocalypse story filled with magic and heroes. Steelheart kicks off the Reckoners series by Brandon Sanderson. Imagine a world filled with people who all of a sudden got superpowers. But the problem is, they're all villains. No one to stop the supervillains from raining chaos on the world. Check out Steelheart to hear how one boy fights to take back his city from the man who destroyed it all. And then continue listening to the Reckoner series to hear how the Reckoners take on the world.
Thank you, Adam. I am sure you guys will enjoy that book. Adam does a pretty good job picking out these books. Now, let's talk about Incompetech.com. Incompetech.com is a phenomenal audio score platform. We have been using them since the start, and they just publish phenomenal content. They really do a professional job, and you can listen to the content for free, which is amazing. I love to listen to these audio scores when I'm prepping or when I'm trying to focus while I'm working, and they just so happen to be phenomenal for things like podcasts or minis painting videos. So go check out Incompetech.com today. All right, that's all I've got for you this week. Let's get back to the episode. I'll see you out on the internet. Bye, guys.
During that distraction, I kind of have nonchalantly moved to the other side of the room, and I try to cast Detect Good and Evil on myself to see if that spell will work on me.
Okay. You start to cast the spell, and what does it do?
I get to know if there's aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet.
It's like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, 10 minutes. Within 30 feet, and then I get to know if there's something that's been magically consecrated or desecrated within 30 feet.
Like, how long ago? Because I was magically consecrated once.
So, like, while this is... wow.
See, I'm gonna.
I think your egg was consecrated.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's gonna be like that, oiling ourselves up. That's what I'm gonna be like after I ate those lobster-sized prawns.
You start to cast the spell, and it seems to
Butter
fizzle
garlic.
out.
I reach up for, like, Sarissa's hand, and I probably can't reach it.
She leans down and
I
puts
take
out
her
finger.
hand, and I take Ring's hand, and I, like, start walking away, like, trying to, like, stop the conversation. Just, like,
She's very awkwardly, like, walking with you. She's like, Kinian, we need to talk, probably in private.
yeah, that'd be best. That'd be best.
We'll go to the scrying pool, I guess. And the three of them exit the room.
And as, like, I pause, and I try to, like, turn my head around like an owl, but it's not possible, because I'm trying to wink back at Uther.
Yeah,
and I get a kink in my neck.
Yeah, you look back, and Uther has now, like, shifted enough so that he's just in the corner of your view, and you can see him, like, draw a line across his throat.
And there's a big smile on Kinian's face as he faces forward and keeps walking.
Quick question. The spells that I've been trying that have fizzled, am I using spell slots for those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And you hear, like, over the ring, man, her uncle is pissed. Yeah.
Do we hear that over the ring?
Yes.
From me.
Yep.
You know who's pissed? I'm pissed. Where's my shrimps?
It's just,
Where's my goddamn shirt?
there's a giant, like, storm giant sized table, and Kyo, a kobold, is the only one at the table,
Yeah.
like, scrambling on it, trying to eat giant food.
Yep. At the moment of exclamation, Kyo.
It's like cloves of garlic the size of
Yeah.
size of Vidalia onions.
Out comes the hill giant with more food, and he has the order that you've ordered. Let's see. So,
Can I get a doggy bag?
I'm kind of full now.
You need a doggy bag of holding?
So, is there anything you guys want to do while Kinian's outside of the room?
I won't eat this cursed food.
I'm gonna sit down at the table, and, like, when I put down my thunder cannon, I want to, like, trip it just enough that it looks like it has broken. Like, it's just
Sure.
kind of like, with a shotgun, the barrel,
Yep.
just enough, and then I'm gonna cast mend on it.
Okay.
And like
To see if you can
fix
do
it
the cantrip.
to see if I can cast the spell.
Sure.
Casual, real casual, like.
Sure. Give me a charisma. What would that be?
Hopefully not
Performance?
charisma.
Performance. Yeah. Yep.
Straight roll.
I bless you.
Bless you. 15.
Yeah. You,
Or not.
You make it pretty nonchalant. You cast the spell just fine. And like Uther, like, kind of walks over, and he's like, You break your gun there?
Everything's fine, sir.
All right. Cool. And he just kind of walks away.
Not awkward at all.
Yeah.
That seems more like a frost giant thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he went to Frost Giant High School.
There you go.
So, while you guys are awkwardly sitting in the... Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
While you guys are awkwardly sitting in the room here, Kinian and Rings and Sarissa have an even more awkward interaction as they're walking over to the scrying pool. Rings, she goes, "So, Kinian, how did you guys end up here?"
I found the shell, and I kind of like let go of both of their hands, and I produce the conch shell.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I think we found it by a river. It's magical, and I like smile and like shake the conch. I'm not really sure what it does, even though I've used it a bunch of times.
Huh, curious. And Sarissa, you and Kinian, have you guys been like hanging out often? Like how how often are you guys working together? I mean, Kinian's never mentioned you in all of our conversations. So I'm just trying to figure out what our business relationship here is. And she goes, yeah, so, me and Kinian, we're kind of a couple. She doesn't have a clue. She says, yeah, Kinian, he came here. I wasn't into him at first, and Rings is just like, and she goes on, and she just kind of talks about the past real quick.
So I'm standing about 10 feet away, facing both of them, and I'm like, sweetheart. Like, at this point, my eyes, instead of going cross-eyed, are like split, because there's like one eye looking at Sarissa and one eye looking at Rings, and I'm like, sweetheart, like trying to make it so that it applies to like both of them.
And Sarissa, she gets to the more recent stuff, and she says, and I wasn't. It's still early, but I guess you're privileged to this, because I'm just so excited. Me and Kinian might be having a baby.
I think at this point, my eyebrows are so high up
They've fallen off
that
your
my
face.
headdress falls off my head. Because they've pushed my hat off.
Rings, she whips her head around at you, and you swear you hear a whip just as she like looks at you, her eyes like super wide, and like with how the positioning of everybody is, Sarissa can't quite see Ring's mouth, and she mouths, "What the fuck?"
I'm like, with one eye up and one eye straight ahead. Like, at this point, like, blood vessels and things are, like, breaking in Kinian's head so that he can pull this off. And he's like, sweetheart, am I to be king of the storm giants?
Yeah, so there's arrangements that need to be made. We need to formalize things before we tell my dad, obviously. I'm really excited that we were able to bring him back. I've heard Uther talking. I thought he was saying something about helping you out with something. I don't know, something about something, and so maybe we can involve him in the wedding too.
That's not a good idea.
And Rings is like, she's like, well, I see you guys have a lot to plan. I am going to go. Nice meeting you, my queen. And she kind of just step back, and then turns on her heel and walks out of the chambers. The guards close the doors, and you all hear down the corridor, "What the fuck?"
And you probably hear over the ring, I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's gonna kill me. Not again. Not again.
Not again. Yeah.
I send through the ring, Kinian, what did you do?
I am now a father. It's gonna be a half orc, half giant beast.
Kinian's
Wouldn't it
laying
be like-
Sarissa's egg.
Wouldn't it be like a quarter orc?
It would be a quarter orc.
A quarter orc. Yep.
Be the runtiest storm giant ever.
But
Hey,
the biggest
the
orc
biggest
ever.
orc.
Biggest orc ever. Kinian's like white, like he's washed up from the sea, like as a undead at this point. And I pick up my headdress off the ground and reaffix it to my head since my eyebrows knocked it off. Okay, honey. Maybe we don't get your uncle involved, but that's great news. And like, I hug her ankle. Maybe her calf.
Yeah, I was gonna say ankle means you're like just right at the floor.
Yeah.
So
I probably come up above her
Thigh.
knee. I'm probably to
Thigh.
like her thigh.
Yeah, I think because she's 28 feet tall. So,
And I'm like,
Probably
I'm
below
6'8" or
the
so.
knee.
yeah, you're just
Probably
slightly
up
below the
right,
knee.
Right about there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And I'm like, I'm so happy. I look really far up and like smile, and I'm like, this is gonna be great.
I'm waiting for Rings to get back.
she stomps back and she looks at you all, and she's usually like very well composed. And you see her kind of like wipe the corners of her eyes really quick, straightens up and recomposes, and
could be interpreted as, Kinian took poorly to her telling him she was pregnant.
Congratulations!
oh no! And she goes, it's not mine.
I guessed men.
You can't.
Fiddle with my gun more and just completely ignore the situation.
So I walk up to Kyo during all this because I'm still fixated on this whole magic thing.
Kyo's still working on his first shrimp.
And I ask if Kyo is able to cast cantrips.
Yeah, and then I make a minor illusion of me without my belt, like totally burst open.
And you see the illusion.
Tanuvial kind of not frowns, but has a very pensive look at that and thanks Kyo. And then I go over to like a wall sconce or whatever's illuminated, and I try casting light on it.
Okay, it's probably about 100 feet off the ground.
Well, and I just do it at like some random glass
Yep,
by
you
the
just-
bar.
Boom. Okay. So you turn one of the glasses by the bar, and it lights.
Okay. So I am able to cast magic, just apparently not leveled spells.
Rings. She says, "So, are we collecting these pieces of 6 then? I'm a little confused at the importance here of a piece of 6.
Yeah, we're trying to collect them because there's evil forces that also want them, and that's I mean, obviously no good.
Yeah, how better to
So-
protect them than get them all in one spot?
Bond says, I think Sarissa said something about it lets her talk to her god. I don't know why she wants to do that. I think she said something about the ordning, actually. She wanted to solidify the ordning.
Yeah, they want to restructure how all the different giant races are treated.
And Rings goes, well, maybe we can use that to our advantage. Maybe we could use that to petition this god to help us out.
It's not a bad idea.
I don't want to go back in that room. I'm going to wait out here, but we should probably collect that information and get going. I don't want to be here anymore.
I'll head off in the direction of the scrying pool then.
Okay. All right. You see Rings in the background. Crawl. Nope, she doesn't even crawl. She snaps a finger and she starts walking up an invisible set of stairs and sits on one of the bar stools, but she sits like on something that's invisible. So she looks like she's sitting in a chair, but it's perfect for her height. And she starts talking in Fluent Giant to the Hill Giant and ordering some sort of drink. Minette, you make your way to the scrying pool, and there Sarissa and Kinian are having a conversation of Sarissa is mostly having the conversation of a wedding. And you see Kinian, he looks like he's had all his blood sucked out. He is white as a sheet. I don't think you've seen him this terrified since the flop sweats on the casino ship.
Kenan, have you stopped drinking again?
It's been a few days.
I think you need to have a drink. So, Chult.
Yes, Chult. So we never really went down there. But from what I've heard, it's a very dense jungle. Very, very hot. So you might want to bring something to allow you to deal with the heat. They are said to, or I've seen only bits and flashes of these goblins' locations. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anything but maybe a smoky mountain in the background. There's not really a good point of reference in these visions, these scrying pools.
I like stumble to my feet. I'm like, I think Bennett's right. I'm very happy. I look forward to continuing this conversation. And you see me just kind of like bend over for a second. Basically say a quick little prayer in Orcish, leaving behind an invisible sensor. Basically, I cast clairvoyance.
Okay.
And I walk out of the room, kind of like listening to what's going on, and I head toward the bar.
Okay. Let's see. Queen Sarissa, she says, have you guys been successful in finding any more of these pieces of 6? I think we only need one other one. I've got the toe, the severed toe. I've got the tin figurine. I've got the nautilus shell and the wooden bowl. Kinian's got the amber shard, which we're going to have to discuss with him, I guess, because we're gonna need him to give that up. And
You hear over the ring.
Kinian's having a day. She says the glass marble is somewhere in Chult, and I think the only thing left is the frozen rope. I have been 100% unable to find that one. Every time I try to scry for it, it seems like my visions are blocked.
We have a lead on that. We believe that Klauth, the red dragon, has the final piece.
She thinks for a second. She says, I've heard that name before. That dragon that Kinian,
Yep.
cut the... Yeah.
Yep.
That his dad? His dad?
Yep. Apparently, we're actually on decent terms with him. He's happy we didn't kill both of his sons.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
It's a little weird, but
That's fair.
Well,
I'm not
because it
gonna-
was total. I mean, they both attacked us at the same time.
yeah,
So,
it's a little odd, but they're dragons, so who knows?
Bloodlines are important, I guess.
Yeah.
She says, I don't have any other information for you. Please feel free to stay as long as you need to. If you need transportation, we can provide it. If I remember correctly, you guys had a mode of transportation that was dry docked last time we talked.
Yeah, it's up and running again. Schultz probably a few days away from it. I don't know exactly how long.
It's a long.
It's a long ways.
Yeah, you've never been there, but you know it's somewhere down by Latan, just south of it. So it's a pretty far jaunt.
How close could you assist in getting us there?
Oh, let's see here. I would say it's probably gonna take, oh goodness, maybe 10 days.
Whoa.
We're pretty far north.
Well, I know you had some teleportation anchors at different
Sure.
places, so I wasn't sure if you had something close. Okay,
No.
we'll just take our ship.
Okay.
We'll be all right. It'll take us a little while to get there.
Mhm.
But I mean, we've still got the conch, so if anything changes, you let us know, and we'll figure out what to do.
I can definitely give periodic updates.
Cool.
Of this. She says, I want to let you know, by the way, things have been a little strange in the seas. We've been seeing things coming by. They morphed things. Abominations, yes.
Yeah.
Is that a thing right now?
So there may or may not be a demon lord somewhere. Ten's really the one who knows the most about this at this point. But yeah, things are heading in a poor direction right now. We're trying to stop some very powerful demons from affecting the world. We've been partially successful so far, not to brag. But, yeah. Do you have any idea where these abominations are coming from? Are you able to track them down?
We can work on tracking them down.
That'd be fantastic.
It's mainly been just storm giant nomads reporting
Sure.
encounters.
Yeah. If you can put out the word to try and figure out where those are originating from, or at least congregating, we'll take a look.
Will do. Okay. Sounds good. Hey, thank you so much for listening. What a fantastic episode. We cannot wait for next week's episode. We hope you stick around to find out what happens next. If you want to find out more about the show, about our characters, or things like that, go check us out on dmstable.com/RWA. DM's Table has got information on how to contact us through Twitter or Facebook or things like that. Go check it out, and we'll see you out on the internet. See ya.